stiff by me. So, you can proceed. Thank you very much. Okay, next, Board of Ethics.
Yes, the Ethics Board met this month to discuss the open complaints we've received. We've worked on drafting letters to be reviewed by the town attorney. When we met with the town attorneys, they wanted to take a look at the first letters we'd be issuing. So we're waiting for them. I guess they're out of town, so we'll get back with them. The last item that we discussed in the meeting was we reviewed some minutes dated December 4th of 17 from the prior ethics committee regarding a couple complaints they received. And in the minutes, there was a write-up on an outcome of their meeting, and it said, decisions of the committee addressing the two official complaints sent to the ethics committee will be deliberated in private. Our recommendations will be delivered to the town board prior to the 12/27/17 town board meeting. We couldn't find that happened or what the outcome was, so those two complaints that came in last year, we're not sure if they're resolved or not resolved. This is all that I could find. So that's where we stand. Okay.
Okay. We'll have a motion to accept the Ethics Committee report.
I make that motion to accept the ethics committee report.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, in my turn, in your stack of papers, the first one I want to discuss is the M&T Bank third-party custody agreement. An agreement similar to this with NBT was signed by Miles Frazier and never saw the light of day till I got here. My understanding is the supervisor is not allowed to make contractual arrangements with anybody without board approval. Now, you gave me permission to establish a depository arrangement with Kinderhook Bank, which I did. And we now have on deposit with them over $250,000, so by FDIC insured rules, we have to have a security contract. That's what this M&T Bank thing is. There is no action to be required. You gave me permission to do the depository arrangement. I'm not of the opinion that I have to ask for approval for a security agreement to secure the funds. But I want this contract on public record in the town clerk's office so that there is not a feeling of something being hidden or under the tape. If there's any questions on the agreement or how it works or what is involved, I'd be happy to entertain the questions. If you want to even look it over and come back next month and we'll discuss that.
That would be helpful.
It's basically a banking arrangement. If Kinderhook Bank was to go flop, you know, they got nothing left, we can call this bank and say, give me the money. That's the bottom line here, okay? And since Kinderhook is FDIC insured, the first $250 comes from the feds. Anything beyond that comes from this M&T Bank. Now, we have the same arrangement with NBT. However, it's based on that contract. It's a 1979 contract. I have requested an update of our arrangement with NBT Bank. And there is one that will be forthcoming, and I will also put that on the table. Now, this LPL brokerage agreement that I entered into, the papers have all been approved by the Norwich office of NBT, and they have been sent over to Boston, to LPL brokerage, and I will have back a completed copy signed of that agreement, and I also will make that part public record. And finally, we'll be able to buy some T-bills. It's been a long, hard struggle. Okay, you have the budget update. This budget update is not as accurate as I would like it to be. When we change depositories on the general fund to Kinderhook Bank, that isn't on that final page where you see the balances. So no money disappeared, it's just not on this page. We all set? Yep. Okay, we'll move on to old business. I have asked twice, this is the third time, that I would ask that our prior records for the prior ethics board be returned to the town office. I really don't like dwelling on the issue. I find that I'm in a position, we have to have this paperwork, and I've discussed it with the town attorney, and I would like to give an additional amount of time until August 7th. If we don't have the paperwork from the prior ethics board after August 7th, the attorney will take over the correspondence. Housing discussion.
Are we still in old business?
No.
Okay.
You have some old business?
Yes, I have
Chris?
lots of old business, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, couple of things. In light of that, we haven't seen anything from the Secretary of State on the changes to the FEMA law from way back in January. I think we need to investigate that and find out if indeed the changes were made and if the Secretary of State accepted those changes.
Did you get on the website?
I'm asking because we usually get a letter back from the Secretary of State.
No, we don't.
Don't we get a
don't.
stamped
No, no,
date?
we do not, we do not.
I thought we got a stamp date for each
Not
law.
anymore, not since it's online. We
No,
do not get
okay.
anything back.
Well, I didn't see anything online either, and I didn't see anything in my
No.
packet, so, I just wanted to bring that up. The other thing is that, we were working on workplace violence. I think Sean was working on that. Did you get anything, Sean?
Yes.
Okay.
That too is in the attorney's hands now. It's gonna be
Okay.
drafted from the counties.
So would you be giving, are you authorized, I guess we gotta have though the class,
Well, I
right?
was told, and I'm still waiting on our HR department to get me the rest of the information, but she was pretty sure of herself that our town attorney can do the workplace violence class,
Okay, good.
seeing as how we already pay her on retention anyways.
Okay, well, that's good. Maybe we'll get in compliance. Okay, I know we had that sitting out there. A few months back, we got a draft report to send to the state controller, and we sat on it and said we were gonna look it over and talk about that in other meetings. Is that gonna be on next month's agenda?
No, that was returned, that letter was returned this week.
So the fact in the public meeting, we said we were gonna look at the draft and then we would get back and have a discussion of it. You just return the letter. Okay,
No, Chris, that's incorrect. Don't misquote me.
Okay.
No?
And, let's see, two other items. We made a resolution to reject, to suspend public comment, and we haven't put in any rules or regulations or made a resolution to have public comment. So are we going to schedule a date and a meeting so we can set forth the rules and recommit public comment, because it's been several months already? Anyone?
I have an answer for you.
Okay.
It's very simple. We suspended public comment under local law. We continued public comment under state law.
No, we haven't. We've not
Oh.
made a resolution.
No, we don't need a resolution.
No, we did. Okay.
No, we don't. We don't.
Okay. Well, while we're at that, well, I beg to differ from you, and according to Association of Towns, we need to have that. So if indeed we have public comment after we put in a resolution to suspend public comment, we're in violation of our own rule that we made to suspend public comment. The other thing is,
You misunderstood what you did.
last month, we were citing that we're working under parliamentary procedures. When I checked back in our original meeting on January 1st, there was no resolution made by the council to put rules and procedures into place. So when did we start parliamentary procedures, and what resolution did I miss for us to put in parliamentary procedures?
The parliamentary procedures are at the pleasure of the supervisor, and the parliamentary procedures were read to you.
Actually,
At
you're wrong. The
May
parliamentary procedures are at the discretion of the board as per town law. And they're supposed to only be amended during our organizational meeting on January 1st. If we fail to amend any of our procedures at the organizational meeting, our rules and procedures from the time from the previous biannual election are still in effect. So, just so we're clear, we're still working under the previous board's rules. They are not at the discretion of anyone but the entire council, and can only be amended at our organizational meeting, per town law.
What you're gonna have to do, Chris, is get some attorney to give you something in writing, because quite frankly, I do not believe you anymore.
Well, that's fine.
Get it in writing from an attorney, and we will look at it with
Okay.
our town attorney.
So I would like next month to be able to bring in a representative
Do that.
to discuss town law.
Do that.
Okay, that's terrific. Thank you for the input.
Where else we going?
That's all I have right at the top. There's still a lot of other things. Have we ever
Where else
cleared
we're
up
going?
the fact that we passed resolutions with only 2 yays?
Mrs. Dunn is gonna get back to me. She said she was gonna get back to me this meeting. She obviously hasn't, so I'm assuming it'll be the next meeting.
That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. New business. Do you have any new business?
I submitted resolutions months ago. You said you wouldn't. Am I allowed to submit resolutions?
You certainly are, sure.
Great. There'll be a pile of them next month. Thank you.
Okay. The housing discussion that we are having, we are trying to obtain a building that went for taxes from the county. The reason we're not putting together a citizens committee at this time is that the negotiations are involving legal work, and there's really no need at this point for a citizens committee. If we get past the legal work, the citizens committee is not a dead issue, we will be doing that. Okay, I'd like to have a motion to file the two laws with the State Department that we had public hearing on tonight.
I'll make that motion, we file the new dog law and,
Veterans exemption.
the veterans exemption law.
Second.
Do we have a second? Any discussion?
Yeah, don't we need to send those to the county?
To the county?
Yes. We usually send our local laws over.
They will be filed with the State Department by
And
the town clerk.
They have 30 days to look it over, and then they send it back. I thought that was the procedure.
No, and if we started doing that, the county would try to interfere with our local.
No, I just thought on the dog law because it's.
Oh, the dog law?
Yes,
Because,
it's ag and markets.
oh. Doesn't the local government rule mean that you
I'm just trying to remember, because I remember we have sent several over because they had to do,
Actually, I never remember doing anything like that.
well, it's just something on the dog law. It seems to take
We
that we
can
need to
check
do
with
that.
the town attorney before filing with the state. That's
Okay.
okay.
Well,
It's
Do you
not a
remember
big deal.
anything like that?
They wrote the dog law, so they must have, they wouldn't have written it if the ag and markets said. They had to go through by, you know, what ag and market said, so it should be okay.
Okay, I just remember we had something, because it references section 118 of the ag and markets law, and something stuck in my head, but that's fine. I'm sure if we're following procedure, we're following procedure. I'm sure they'd never file something that wasn't correct.
You know, something.
Let's say that.
Well, that's what I'm saying that, I just wanted to be,
Yeah.
We'll check into it, Chris. We'll know what we're doing before we. Okay. We need a second to that resolution.
No, Hank did.
Hank seconded, okay. I guess we're all set with the discussion part, so all those in favor?
whoa, I'm sorry, I have some
Oh,
discussion.
you got more discussion on the dog law? and
Yes, I do.
the Veterans law?
Okay, no, because the public hearing was for the public. I really think that the barking regulation, I'm not really happy with, and I have some misgivings about this. I don't know if anybody else does. Does anybody have any misgivings?
That's not what we're changing, though, we only changed,
Can't change nothing in that area.
I understand, but in the past, we've had a lot of discussions about the barking regulation part of this law. Okay?
that law was already passed.
I remember Keith Fowler and a number of other people having some real issues with it, and while it's back up on the table, when a citizen comes to me and asks me, what do you think about the nuisance dog barking law section of this, and the ability to give tickets, I just want to bring it up. Does anybody else have anything to say about it?
Isn't that possibly the most common problem that people have with other people's dogs?
Well, I wish Cheryl was here to know a little bit about it, but I know that several of the guys that coon hunt and so forth have really expressed a lot of misgivings to the barking part that we've been forced to put in the law.
But I don't think that's what the law's applying for, it's people that,
And it's not for
no.
some.
not
Well,
for
it says,
mine.
I understand, but it says habitual barking or conduct. So,
That would apply, habitual barking means that you tie your dog up outside and it's gonna constantly bark all day and all night long while it's tied up to its coop. That's habitual barking.
I understand, listen, when a resident comes to you and they ask you for things, I'm expressing it, I'm putting it out on the table.
As far as the dog barking and, you know, my hounds bark all the time when they're chasing rabbits, that's what they're trained to do.
That's what they're supposed to do, right, I got you. But I just, I had two residents came up and just said that the barking part of it, they were not happy about it on the law.
Well,
But
we had a
if,
public hearing at 6 o'clock for us, so they should have been.
I'm bringing it up and asking if any of you have heard anything about it, because I think they're the people we serve first. Okay, so I brought it up, and there we go.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
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 What,
Those
should we wait for
opposed?
him?
We need to wait for him.
Okay, Hank, we're ready to vote on the dog ordinance.
We waited for you.
All those in favor say aye.
I,
Opposed?
Abstain?
Carried. All right, public comment. Yes, sir.
I don't always hear everything that goes on here. Am I to understand that there is a large solar project proposed in the town of Palatine at this point?
A large shoulder?
Solar panel
Solar.
project.
Oh, solar panel. Oh, I don't always hear either.
Well, I thought I heard even where it was to be located.
Yes. It's not been, they're in the planning stage, but they haven't submitted their application yet, is what Joe has indicated.
Well, if they had, I wondered whose property it was on. That's, which I think that any person has a right to know where one of these things is going to be located, because it can affect anybody.
All our building permits are public information.
Yes, I know.
So, yeah, you're more than welcome to look at all of them.
The other one is, are these solar panel projects exempt from taxes? Now, I think I understood in the Amsterdam paper who they failed to deliver again today to me, about once a week, that they opted out of that they are going to be taxed in Amsterdam.
Pilot stands for payment in lieu of taxes. In
I
other words,
know.
an agreement.
We'd all like to have that.
Oh, I'd love to have it.
I think that they're discriminated against all the rest of us. I've thought so for a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet. Anybody else?
I'd like to add.
Oh, sure.
Skip. I did a little research for what you asked last month about the fires and everything. The research that I come up with mostly had to do with your solar panels on your houses and stuff. And there's 3 different kinds of solar panels. You got your electrical solar, you got your thermal solars for heat, and electrical, thermal, and hot water. Each one of them is a different tactic to fight the fire to it, but I haven't had a chance to talk with either the fire coordinator or any of the chiefs to see if they've been doing any type of training on it. But for the best thing I got out of the research was they treat every one of them as an electrical fire, because there is, even if they kill it at the panel, there's still residual electricity in the panel itself. And it has to be treated as you could get electrical shock from it.
That's what I was told by a friend on the fire department in
So
Ephrata,
I'm gonna assume
that
that
they've been looking into it.
if there's a solar farm where everything is up on pedestals off the ground, they would have to be treated the same way as, because obviously that's going into the grid. So they would have to treat that as an electrical fire on the ground, I guess.
It's just, we should continue to look into that.
And I am.
And if, when a person puts those, I don't care if they're put on that person's house, but when they're put on, if there is a hazard, they had ought to be aware of that when they put it on. But there's none of these companies that are gonna make you aware of anything that's gonna cut out their profit, in my estimation. It's just un-American.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I know you guys got a lot going on. The other morning, I was looking through the news channels. I don't know what village it is, but they just passed a law, and I don't know if, I think it'd be great if you guys could do it also. After a home burns, they have 60 days after the insurance check is received to remove that burnt out building. And they passed an ordinance, a law in the town, that if they don't, the town pays for the removal from the demolition company and puts a lien on the property to the tax owner. Because right now, there's 3 or 4 buildings that have been sitting. I mean, the one fellow there by the motel up there, the judge has already ordered him as of October 1st. He's got a $300 and something a day fine. I feel sorry for the people that burned out. Garrison is across the street. Somebody goes in there and, you know, gets hurt. Whose liability is that on? Is it the homeowners? Or, I mean, in 60 days, they should be able to clear that up after they get an insurance check. Or they're just going to walk away with the insurance check and it's going to sit there. I was just wondering if there's something you guys could look into as far as setting up a town rule or regulation on that. Thank you.